Hello, welcome to the Gospel Freedom Podcast. This is a bit of a different episode. This was recorded on my phone because I'm here at the Canberra Convoy protest, the big step up of protests here on Saturday, the 12th. Hopefully this will come out the same day. I won't try to do too much editing today, and I can't do too much because I'm here at the protest. I didn't introduce myself properly in the initial recording. So hello, I'm Mitchell Parker. Welcome to the Gospel Freedom Podcast. Let's get into a quick preview of what's coming up today, and then we'll jump right into the podcast. Everyone is jeering a single person on a boat with a mask on and an against us sign. We all walk to the WA border and demand we let ourselves in, and we have a song now. Someone's playing the Duncan song by Slim Dusty. And we've had lots of different voices, so even if we don't agree with all of them. There's a good crowd here already, marching across from Commonwealth Park to Old Parliament House first, and then to the current Parliament House. Everyone is jeering a single person on a boat with a mask on and an against us sign. It is a little silly to wear a mask with no one around. Like literally no one out on Lake Burley Griffin. As I was saying, good crowd today. Easily 100,000 so far, perhaps even more. All the car parks around were full. Plenty of people going to the protest from motels around here. And people camping at Camp Freedom. So, should be a good day. We've got 5 demands to the government, or to the governments I should say. I'll read them out in a moment. So here are the 5 demands of the convoy to Canberra. Dismiss all sitting members of the incumbent federal government and elect a new government after an electoral reform process. End mandates and passports and require informed medical consent for all medical procedures for children. End the state of emergency in all states and repeal the Victorian pandemic bill. Open all state borders and investigate all COVID-19 misconduct with the Royal Commission with the power to prosecute. These have been the consensus demands. And just like in Canada, this will keep going until our demands are met. I think I'd add to that and say that the Victorian pandemic bill needs to be repealed. So does the New South Wales one. No, it's not the pandemic specific one. The public health order bill, which is actually not a bill, it's a law, the Act. That needs to be repealed as well, because that allows for an indefinite state of emergency, just like the Victorian bill does. But, of course, the Victorian one is the most egregious. So I suppose that one needs to go first. The informed consent one is good, but I would have liked to have seen at least a temporary holding of the COVID-19 vaccine rollout to children, at least. We've seen so many adverse events on the database of adverse events from the TGA, Therapeutic Drugs Administration, and, well, though it's not on there, I think informed consent goes a long way to actually preventing it, because if you said, hey parents, here are all the list of adverse events, I'm not sure many, if they knew, would still go ahead with it. I think the state borders one is a little tough to implement because the dictator in Western Australia, Mark McGowan, he's going to need something to open those borders. Perhaps that's the next thing. We get our demands in Canberra, then what? We all walk to the WA border and demand we let ourselves in. It's like Ronald Reagan's speech to Mikhail Gorbachev of the Soviet Union. Tear down this wall. If we stand there, like the Berlin Wall, sure, it's got to come tumbling down. I think it's very difficult for number one to be achieved, to dismiss the entire government. What they could do is call an election. I don't think you're going to replace the existing government, at least in this term of Parliament. So that's the least likely, I think. Now, on the mandates, I think we could see the mandates go. I think that's probably the most likely to go. That's the most likely demand to be achieved. And I think we could get that Royal Commission. The question is will it be a pound to prosecute? I'm not sure. Maybe it won't be a Royal Commission. Maybe it'll just be parliamentary inquiry. I think at some point they have to have it. They're already doing that in the US. They've been doing that for at least about a year now, I think. So, look, I think there's probably two that will get done out of the 5, that being the end of the mandates, and probably the Royal Commission or Parliamentary Inquiry. I don't want to get that informed consent one, or the state borders, or the dismissal of the current government. But we could get the dismissal of Parliament. We get an early election. The question is, maybe will that actually help the existing government and opposition, Labor and Liberal, because they have the resources to turn on at a moment's notice. We're seeing that in by-elections. They just call it as late as they can to give the independents and minor parties no time to do anything whatsoever to campaign. So I think probably 2 of these may be achieved, but I think the other 3 are unlikely. But you never know. Maybe if we see some mainstream media cameras. All good. Just a person with a dog just held up for a moment. If the mainstream media do see us here, and the politicians see it, maybe they will say, oh, well, maybe we'll relax on those mandates just a little bit. Maybe we won't change the definition of fully vaccinated from COVID-19 to a rolling amount, which is what they want to do. Atagi wants to change it to up to date, which means it's no 1 dose, 2 doses, 3 doses, it's however many doses they want. But it's a nice day here in Canberra, and I'll let you know. some more when I have some more. So from me, marching to Old Parliament House. Bye-bye for now. Well, it's actually good that we got this many people here today, because there was a point where this may not have gone ahead. You may have known that one of the original organisers of the convoy, Jim Greer, was arrested after being found with multiple firearms. But since then, the movement has sort of moved on from being about the truckers, and now we have regular people from all around Australia camped here in Canberra, and of course more people who came and joined today, including myself. But this has moved on from being a thing about the truckers, because in Canada there are lots of owner-drivers, and so the truckers are essentially able to stay there. But if you don't own your truck, you're not able to stay there. So the main group of people in this sort of the evolving convoy to Canberra, which is now more focused around Camp Freedom, it's mainly the families that are there at the moment. And also you might notice the microphone is different, because it's my own microphone. Maybe better quality though, and it's not my phone. So 2 different microphones today. Now let's head to my thoughts at the end of the protest. Well, the protest just wrapped up about half an hour ago. It was quite a lengthy one. Good couple of hours in it. Maybe 3. Very diverse range of speakers. And we have a song now. Someone's playing the Duncan song by Slim Dusty. But that kind of sums up the mood. A very Australian and proud, even if we didn't get everything we wanted from that. But all the estimates seem to be 500,000 people there, so good turnout. Hope they don't copyright strike me for having a song in the background. There is another little rally going on now outside Parliament House rather than Old Parliament House. That's focusing more on the Aboriginal issues, which I think caused more divisions than healed divisions, with what a couple of the speakers said. But unfortunately, that's what happens. We have a big group. You have divisions at some point, and people disagree. But most importantly, there are lots of speakers talking about the importance of Jesus, and this is a spiritual war we're fighting, and it doesn't matter if we don't get our results, because faith in Jesus Christ is the most important thing. And I think that song wrapping up is a good enough sign to end this section of the podcast. Well, I didn't introduce myself properly at the beginning, so I'll do it here at the end. My name is Mitchell Parker. You've been listening to the Gospel Freedom Podcast. Let me know your views about what you think of the situation here in Canberra. I think it's been a very productive start so far. Of course, there's more work to be done. Still looking for those demands to be met. But otherwise, I think it's been good. It's been peaceful, and we've had lots of different voices. So even if we don't agree with all of them, There are a range of views on offer for people to listen to. I know it's a little shorter, but this is one done really quickly, on location, and that's what you have to go with when it's on location, almost live. Anyway, thank you for listening to the Gospel Freedom Podcast. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, and God bless.